All right, welcome to Buddy Book Club. I'm Dylan here with my submissive Keith, who doesn't make love. He fucks hard. What's up, slave?
Come in
We're
hot.
doing it.
You love
We're
to
fucking
see it.
doing it.
I'm joined by Dylan, as most women and men describe him as, quote, the epitome of male beauty, simply breathtaking. So
Delicious. A lot of delicious in this book. All right, well, here at the Buddy Book Club, we're breaking down some bestsellers, and this week we'll be discussing for our 69th episode, the fastest-selling paperback in the United Kingdom of all time, 50 Shades of Grey by E.L. James. If you'd like to recommend a book for us to read or reach out to us about any past episodes or send us any hate mail for this episode, you can visit our website, buddybookclub.com, or sign into our DMs on Twitter or Instagram, Buddy Book Club Podcast. You can listen to us on iTunes and Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, so please download and subscribe. Keith, do you have a bucket of cold water near you? We just might need it. What is your experience with erotic romantic novels?
this is my first.
Okay.
This is what we call smut, right?
You started reading it before I did. And to be fair to all the listeners out there, I only read the first half, or I'm at like 42%. Honestly, don't think I'll be continuing this journey. And Keith is the same. We've only read the first half. In general, just so you know, we don't have the full story. I actually had a friend in, I think, elementary school who got his hands on some erotic novel, and it was like legit PORN to us, you know, at that time. This is pre-computers and whatnot, and we're just wondering, like, what are all these things that we're reading? So we'd have sleepovers, and like someone would read a chapter, and it was like, oh my God, this is wild stuff. And this was probably at that level.
I feel like it'd be good to get kids reading that early, you know? It's way better to build their imagination than to, you know, watch hardcore porn, right? You just have to read.
Oh,
you know?
100%. I mean, it's probably safer for children these days. Now they can get their hands on anything at the click of a button. Yeah. But yeah, that you should go into schools instead of like the Scholastic Challenge. Imagine if that was just filled with smut. Kids would be reading all the time.
I think there's a big political issue right now. Like we're brushing over it. Perfect.
All right. Well, whatever. Either way, I just wanted to be clear that we'd only read the first half, and I do have a bucket of cold water next to me in case this conversation gets too hot and heavy, in which case I will be dumping it on my head and ruining my computer. But Keith, let's jump into some stock up, stock down. What do you have for stock up?
Stock up, it being all mental. I like this term a lot. It's all mental, but I'm getting right into it. I mean, her roommate,
Kate,
she's got to figure it out. So she's been bugging this Christian Grey dude for an interview for 6 months. Mm-hmm. Just will not stop emailing him, getting out in front of him. He finally agrees, and she gets a little stomach ache, a little cold, and she just whimpers out and sends her roommate to do it. It was like, what are we talking about here?
Not a gamer.
Yeah, can you just drink a little ginger ale and figure it out? Like, it's embarrassing. I haven't taken a sick day since the first grade. Actually, I don't remember the last time I took a sick grade. Never in middle school, high school, college. Never sick days. I don't do sick days. In fact, I'll give you a good story. You might have heard this one before. I went up for the national championship. Clemson's playing. Went out, obviously, on, I think, Saturday. The game was on Monday. Drank a couple beers. Popped a couple sodas, adult sodas. Mm-hmm. End of the night with some chicken wings.
Naturally.
Don't get me started there. Don't get me started on those.
Go to buddybookclub.com if you want to know more.
Wake up middle of the night and start both ends coming out of everything naturally.
Wow, this is exactly like the book.
The next day we drive to where the stadium is. Same thing. I'm like, I'll be fine tomorrow. Next day we wake up. It's game day. And I'm just like, holy shit, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. I'm so out of the game mentally. I drink a cup of water and I immediately RG it out, right? It's just an instant. We go to the game. I'm like, and everyone's like, you're good? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Drink a half a Bud Light right to a porta potty. Just shit in a porta potty. The kickoff happens. I'm in the bathroom shitting. I make it through the whole game. I watched the whole game. I fucking had a smile on my face the whole game. We won. Great national championship, and it's a great story. But I fucking made it, D-Man, with that. She can't make it in a stomach ache. Get the fuck out of here. All right?
That was equally as descriptive, but more well-written than this entire book. And honestly, slightly more disgusting.
Just as erotic, is that what you meant to say?
Yeah, definitely just as erotic, for sure. But I did have a similar stock up, which is being a terrible interviewer, because after Kate decides she just can't do it, which is mind-boggling, gives it to Anastasia, like, hey, you got to go interview this guy. Anastasia knows she's going to interview Christian Grey. It's a big deal. He's a super-duper bigwig. This is no joke. She doesn't even read the interview questions before going to see him.
She's studying, kid.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if she gives them to you as you're walking out the door. On your way over there, just give them a cursory look. Just look over them real quickly. Instead, she pulls a full Ron Burgundy and just goes off the teleprompter and says, "Are you gay?" It's like, whoa, I can't believe I didn't see that. If I opened a sheet of interview questions and the word gay was on there, my eyes would be drawn to it and I'd be like, hold on a second. I'm not about to just drop this bomb here. It was terrible. And also, Kate's supposed to be this good journalist, but talk about some gotcha journalism. You just like have this plan to just throw that in there. Terrible. But it's a stock up because at the end she gets the guy, or at least the creepazoid. So yeah, being a terrible interviewer, stock up. Sure. What else you got?
Reading. Stock up.
Oh.
I get what Anastasia sees in Christian. He's all man and then some. He's basically the most attractive, smartest, richest person ever, naturally, which is fine. What does he see in her? Literally the only thing we know about her, the only thing, and this is 10 hours into the book, is that she likes British novels and she like can't handle alcohol. That's it.
Tea. She likes tea.
So I guess it's like meant for like, any woman can become.
Yeah.
You fill in the blanks of you're her, because they don't give you anything other than that she likes books. And if you're reading this book, you probably like books too.
She's not even like self-deprecating in a cute way. Like everyone says she's attractive, but she's like, I'm not attractive. I'm not attractive. I'm not attractive. It's like, slow down. Just honestly, like give yourself some grace. The whole book is pretty much her inner monologue. And it started to just get annoying. Honestly, how little she thought of herself. And then how much she thought of, she'd be like, Christian Grey is in my bedroom. It's like, yeah, you're dating him and you have a contract that says he gets to beat you with a cane. So yeah, he's in your bedroom. What? Christian Grey is playing the piano. Yeah, what do you think those fingers have been? Like, are you kidding me? Of course he can tickle the ivory. He's tickled everything else.
Stay in. Then again, like, I get it, because she went to the auditorium, or maybe this might be the chapter after, I might have read ahead, but they go to an auditorium and every single person there is literally like, holy shit, who's this dude up on the stage? This guy's the hottest person I've ever seen in my entire life. But like every single person's like salivating at seeing him. You must have some quality. And considering you have no personality other than reading, you must be pretty good looking. That's the only thing I can think of. Or it would have made more sense if he's super into virgins or something.
Yeah, I was going to say, you could probably just like sniff the virginity on her or something like that.
But he hated that when she said that. So I was like, so what is he into about her? I don't get it.
I don't usually go out looking for subs. Not usually, unless they're wrapped in a sandwich roll and have some gabagool on them. But maybe it's just like a vibe that someone gives off, like, oh, they'd be a great sub or something like that.
This is what I think is that she did, is she whispered, I'm really into the BBC. And he was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And she meant the Buddy Book Club.
Yeah, she did, of course.
Because she likes reading and she listens to us.
Big reader, for sure.
You bachelors and bachelorettes out there, just read and listen to the podcast and you'll get whoever you want.
You get the next Christian Grey to hang you up by your toes and slap you with a fanny thing or whatever he had. I don't know. My next talk up, underage drinking. Okay, touchy subject. I understand. I do understand. I'm not condoning underage people drinking. What I will say is when you don't drink until you're in your early 20s and you decide to save it for like a special occasion, graduating college or whatever the case is. I've seen it before. People tend to go a little too much. They don't realize, because they see everyone else who's worked up their tolerance a little bit and they say, oh, okay, I can go toe to toe with this person. Anna never being drunk before and then deciding to drink 5 margaritas. Talk about the sugar count. Like no one's even explained that to her. The amount of sugar and alcohol together, how dangerous that is for your hangover. My God. But she drinks 5 margaritas after never being drunk before and goes completely off the wall. Praise to her for after drinking those 5 margaritas to be like, no, I think I'm good. Let's switch to beer. I appreciated that. Honestly, I was like, wow, she's a gamer. I did like that aspect of it. But if you kind of have a little taste here and there, realize your limits before being in this like situation where not only did you just graduate college, but you've been approached by this billionaire and you need to like drink to forget about it. Only bad things can happen. So people out there who have decided, maybe I'm just going to try a little bit here, or maybe in the safety of your own home with your parents or whatever the case is, that's usually the best way to do it. Don't just go out there and take inebriating substances to the max the first time. It's just never a good idea. I, for one, shared a nice bottle of 151 with some friends behind a church in high school, and we were drinking plowed snow that was mixed with gravel to wash it down. Terrible experience. One of the worst of my life. Was it a lesson? Yes, I learned a lot. Don't drink sandy gravel
151.
snow.
100
no.
proof is
Shoot,
fine.
that was right.
151. Also 5.
It's 5 margaritas.
Yeah, 5 margaritas is. I'd black out from 5
100%.
margaritas. Is like,
Yeah, I've been drinking for 20 years.
Yeah.
I want to say this as well because it's in relation, another stock up. The sexual experimentation in your late teens. Once again, I'm not condoning anything. And I'm not talking about the crazy stuff, okay?
Reach out to Dylan if you're interested, is what he's saying.
I'm not talking about the crazy stuff. Maybe a little over the pants party, some heavy petting in the back of a movie theater, whatever. At that age, everyone is so inexperienced that there's not a lot of harm that can be done. It's like 10-year-olds playing tackle football. That's what I equate this to, because there's just not enough physical mass for them to hurt each other. And it's similar to like two people fumbling around who don't really understand what's going on. It's a good way to learn. But if you decide to wait, then you have a chance of running into and falling for some sadistic fuck like Christian Grey. It's like you've never felt anything with another man, and then all of a sudden it's this guy who's sweeps you off your feet, gives you normal quote-unquote vanilla sex, and then takes you to his dungeon and hangs you by your toenails, like I said. It's like very confusing, because then she's wondering, is this normal? Is this what normal people do? It's not.
I thought we don't yuck anyone's yum here, kid.
I don't.
What's going on here?
It's a good point. It's a good point. Consent is very important.
And just like those 10-year-olds wearing pads, protection also.
Yeah, protection. And those 10-year-olds signed a consent form too.
Only say this. God.
No, they don't. They should, those filthy buggers. They sail from port to port.
I love to see
great
it.
stuff.
We're back. We're back, baby.
Yeah, so sexual experimentation in your late teens, go for it.
Drink and have sex, 19 and 18-year-olds.
Okay, well, I just mentioned vanilla sex, so let's go there. Stock up vanilla sex. So for Anna's first time, we've been dealing with horrible writing for the first 6-7 hours of this book, being like, I thought this was about sex. I thought this book was about disgusting, depraved sex. And all I've heard about is Anna's inner monologue about her goddess. Like, that's all I've heard. So, like, when does the sex start? So when Anna goes to Seattle or Vancouver or wherever it is that Christian lives, he finds out she's a virgin, as we've alluded to. And he says he has to have sex with her. He gives her what he calls, quote unquote, vanilla sex. And I just want to be clear. If I'd told the wife we were about to have vanilla sex, she would, 1, say, yeah, what else is new? And 2, she would expect the standard 37 seconds of the most mediocre experience of her life.
Right.
Whatever Christian gives
long.
Anna is absolutely not vanilla. Or if it is vanilla, it's like some super secret vanilla beans that only come from a specific mountain in Madagascar that you have to get Arnold Schwarzenegger from The Predator to like go up and take those vanilla beans and smuggle them out. It's the opposite of vanilla. It's Rocky Road, whipped cream, cherries, bananas on top. I mean, he legit rocks her world. I don't know, maybe it's a stock down because now people will think this is what vanilla sex is. Because if that's vanilla sex, then what the hell am I doing? Because whatever it is, what's worse than vanilla? Sherbet?
Yeah.
You know? I have no idea. I'm having sherbet sex.
It's like frozen yogurt, not real ice cream.
Yeah.
Shit. That's what I'm doing.
It's like some Breyers, just milk, no actual cream in it. It's like Breyers low sugar.
Sugar-free.
Yeah,
Yep,
sugar-free
for sure.
ice cream.
Yeah.
That's what...
Maybe it's just me, but the confidence that Christian Grey has, like, who is this dude? And the whole time I'm thinking in my mind, if I'm ever lucky enough to ever have sex once, is like, don't blow this, don't mess up, don't do this. You're doing, like, there's no point that I'm actually enjoying it. I'm just worrying the whole time. That's really what it comes down to, right?
At that
That's
point,
everyone
you're
else
like,
too, right?
you're like, don't hate me in the morning. Like, please have a semblance of an enjoyment from this experience.
It's just the whole time I'm worried. That's there's never fun. It's always after that I think I'm like, I guess that was fun, maybe. I don't know.
No, 100%. I couldn't agree with you more. When you're young doing that thing. I mean, he's obviously
young. Totally not right now.
Okay. You had no more stock ups. I just had quickly biting your lip. I mean, it's referenced 1,000 times in this book how she bites her lip, and he's like, if you bite your lip one more time, I'm going to eat your face off and shove things in your butt. It's like, oh, what?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, honestly, I was very confused about him being like, I'm going to beat you if you bite your lip again. It's like, I know there's like pictures of people biting their lip, but if someone just like was constantly chewing on their lip, I'd be like, do you need chapstick? Like, what's going on? I don't understand. It's not
it's
incredibly...
like a nervous tick, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like not incredibly sexy. Maybe the first time, if you saw someone like looking at you across the bar, you'd be like, oh my God, is she looking at me? But once she just like couldn't stop eating her own face, I'd be confused. I guess it's a stock up. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a thing. I don't know what I was doing.
You would just think she has like a tooth at a place. You're like, is she an overbite? Like, what's her deal?
Yeah, is she trying to hide something? But I guess I just don't know what I was doing this whole time, like taking women out on dates or...
Well, you weren't a billionaire, kid, so I don't know.
But I should have just been biting my lip the whole time, and women would be like, oh my God, wow, he's so attractive.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'll try it. What do you got for stock down?
Stock down, Stitch Fix, HelloFresh, Peloton. All stock downs. So this contract she's given, right? I mean, I just don't understand where the issues are. I just really don't. I was like reading through it and I'm like, oh yeah, she gets someone to pick out her outfit to dress her. She gets food picked out for her, delivered to her, given to her. Yep. She gets a personal trainer. And she doesn't have to pay for any of these. That's all things that we get charged for by services now. I think these companies read this book and were like, we should just charge people for these. She's literally getting all the toughest things about life paid for her. I mean, what are we talking about here? And then, I mean, there are some issues, right? But I don't make eye contact with the opposite sex or talk to them, really. So that's fine. We're good there. Check that box. That's fine. I know we're not allowed to do that based on the contract, but I'm not already doing that. So we're good there. And then someone's going to degrade and beat me up and tell me I'm worthless? Like, yeah,
I do that to myself.
That. Yeah, I mean, sign me up. Did you read my blog about strip clubs? I really wrote that in there. I said, I wish a strip club just had people just yelling at me. That'd been much better. So it's a win-win-win for me. I don't really understand. This is all free. This stuff I pay for. I mean, this stuff I would pay for. I mean, what?
I was saving it for some lingering questions I had at the end, but I was going to ask if this contract is something that you would sign up for. I mean, obviously,
sign me up.
Not
sign me up right away.
I'm saying not. I'm trying to give you an out. Like not today. You know, in the past, maybe your early 20s.
I'm not even reviewing it. I'm just signing right away.
He's like, sign on the dotted line after you read the whole thing, and you like hand it back to him. It's like, it's already signed. It's good. We're good. We're good to go. Where do I go?
Yeah.
I already got zip ties on. Where do I go?
Yeah, I don't know what the issue was. Yeah. I don't get it.
Honestly, it seemed like a pretty good deal to me. And a lot of the reviews were like, you know, it was bad for women because she didn't really negotiate. And that's probably a whole nother question that we're not going to get into here. But I was down. I was like, okay, so there's a billionaire who just wants to like tickle me and like do some weird stuff. But he's gonna pay for me to work out, buy me clothes, buy me all the food I need, and like I'm supposed to eat healthy. Like I can only eat fruit as a snack. Okay, maybe we need some negotiation there, but I do like fruit, so like I'm good with it. It sounded pretty awesome. I just have to give up 3 weekends a month. It's like being in the Army Reserves. Like I saw those commercials. 2 weekends a month, like 1 week a year. It's like, yeah, this is way better.
Less painful though.
Yeah. It's, you know, I'm not gonna die. It says in the consent form I'm not gonna die.
Yeah.
You don't get that consent form with the Army Reserve.
I also had an out, by the way, for the contract the whole time. It was like there'll never be any feces or urine like stuff. There's no need for code word. I'd just be like, start pissing, or I'd be like, I need to piss, or I need to take a shit. Right?
Oh, that is a code.
It's
yellow.
over.
Code yellow.
You see
right
that?
there.
Yeah, exactly. So you're just out of it immediately because that's in the contract. So I already found a loophole.
Yeah,
I mean,
I love that you read that as thoroughly as they did in the book, because honestly, the point I stopped at the book, it was like 2 chapters of her reading this contract over and over and over again. It was like the author needed to extend pages, so she was like, let me just reprint that chapter as the next chapter, and she'll reread the contract.
I did think, I was like, did it just repeat? What's going on here? That was kind of strange.
It's like, why are they just going to read this contract all over again? Like, we get it. He's going to beat you with canes, which is also like, it says he can't leave a mark on you. He has a pool cue rack of wooden canes. How does that not leave a mark?
Maybe on invisible stuff.
Oh, invisible parts of the body?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
You didn't read that contract very well. You just signed it.
Yeah.
My first stock down is having a nice car. So,
okay.
Yeah, Christian Grey, when he picks Anna up from the bar, because she's been vomiting and whatnot, you know, she wakes up in his bed in her bra and panties, which is already like he went a little too far in my mind by doing that. Like, you know, if she's covered in puke, it's like, that's unfortunate, but like she's sleeping in that.
I never understood, when they're always like, it's so romantic, or not romantic, but like chivalrous to not have them sleep in their, like, who gives a shit if you sleep in your clothes? Like, what does that matter?
It's
I never
what's
understood
chivalrous
that.
is like keeping her body autonomy to herself.
Right.
You know?
I always thought it was weird to me when people are like, and I took your shoes and everything off. It's like, just let them sleep in that. It doesn't matter.
I probably take the shoes off.
Yeah, you're a foot tickle guy, though. So, I mean, that basically
well,
is like taking
sniff
their shirt
feet,
off.
You know, I got to
right,
get somewhere. But he says that he didn't take Anna to her own home from the bar because he didn't want to risk the leather in his car, which that just gets like rolled right over.
Yeah.
You're a billionaire. You can get that car reupholstered, or you can light that car on fire and buy another one. Like, no problem. You can get that thing professionally cleaned for $500. None of it makes sense. But, you know, that's just the downside of having a nice car, honestly, is like, if you have a nice car, stuff's going to go bad. My buddy just bought a really nice car, and another friend said, hey, where's your kid's seat? Like, you have a kid, where's this children's seat in the back? He goes, no, he doesn't come in my car. He's 2 years old. He'll make a mess. You're just limiting the kid's options from where he can drive. With me, I have a nice, crappy Mazda and a 60-pound mutt who sheds and spits all over the windows, drools everywhere. I could care less. Anna, I'll take you home, make you nice and safe. You can vomit all over my car. I'll just hose it out. I'll hose the whole thing out. I don't care. I got the tech deck or whatever it's called. You can just hose that thing out. Easy peasy. So guys out there, girls out there, don't have a nice car. Not when you're young, especially. Shit happens. Or if you have a dog, honestly.
As someone that has a really nice car, 2011 Nissan Sentra that we call the American muscle car because it's spec'd out so much. I'm not letting her throw up on the plastic upholstery.
The fake suede.
I looked it up recently. It's almost valued at $2,000 on Kelly Blue Book. So,
wow.
We're not letting that happen, okay?
You're a 2000-aire? You should start putting some contracts together.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What else you ever stocked up?
Normal guys stocked down.
Oh, yeah.
So we have Christian Grey, eccentric, abnormal billionaire in the book. It was finally nice to see some normal guys. And by normal guys, I mean, we have Jose, who's described as like the most attractive person ever. But
yeah, he's jacked.
He's jacked, attractive, but Anna's not attracted to him in any way. And Jose is this weird photographer rapist type, which is like...
Yeah.
Okay. And she's like, but I'll always love you, even though you did all that like stuff that was very, very creepy the other night.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Fuck Jose.
Then we see Anna with the store owner son. And Anna's talking to Christian, and she's like, thank God. I forget his name. Joey's here, let's say his name was.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Joey's here. I can go talk to a normal guy. She goes up to Joey, and literally the first thing Joey says is, Anna, you're looking really good. Really good. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
We're gonna sicko.
Yeah. You say, hi, Anna. It's been a while. How are you?
Yeah.
Like, why are there all these rapey-ass guys in this? I don't understand.
And she's like, it's so nice to talk to you that you're normal. I'm like, that's normal? What the fuck?
Yeah, it's like, it's so nice talking to you. You're so normal. And he's like, will you let me go on a date with you? And she's like, ew, no.
Yeah. Also, she was like, he does this all the time. It's so funny. It's like, what, pardon? Like, he's asked you like 10 times on dates and you like this guy still? And then the third one is her roommate's brother, and they're like hugging and stuff. And then like Christian's like, what's going on over there? Like, who's this fucking dude? Like, you're hugging. And then the guy's like jealous at Christian. And I'm like, you don't even know her. What is this? What's going on here? Why are these? And these are all normal people that she's like, I really like this guy. He's the best. It's like, why?
Yeah. I was going to comment on just like the super horrible men that are in this, like Christian aside. But
Christian's good. I told you. He's the best guy in the book.
Christian aside, which he has his own problems, obviously, was sexually assaulted as a youth and probably should seek therapy as opposed to like putting that on other women. But that's a different story. Mm-hmm. But the shopkeeper guy, exactly what you said. He just immediately said, oh, you're looking so good. It's like, buddy, like just be normal. You know, it's not that hard just to say, hi, how are you? Like, how have things been? Whatever. Just be normal. And then I was actually like really upset about the whole Jose, you know, I didn't pick a character for this, so we can skip through that, but it was once again definitely not Jose, because he's supposed to be her friend, and he must know that one, she's a virgin or like doesn't date, and two, is not a drinker. So he waits. He's like waiting for her to take too many margaritas, which I'm sure he was pouring down her throat. And then he sexually assaults her. Like he tries to put his tongue down her throat and like doesn't let her leave, even though she said no like 4 times. Who would have known what would have happened if the knight in white shining dildos, Christian Grey, didn't show up and save her? But Jose just does all this terrible stuff to her, and she doesn't black out. Like, she remembers this. And the next, or 2 days later, when they finally talk, she's like, how could I ever be mad at you, Jose? I'm never mad at you. It's like, this guy literally sexually assaulted you. Like, and I'm not trying to blame the victim here at all. I'm just saying that E.L. James or whatever, you got to reformat what's going on here.
And also, if I was Jose, I'd be jumping off a bridge probably. But if I wasn't, he's like comes and talks to her, and he's like, "Oh, so you're dating him now?" It's like, "Whoa, buddy, you need to back up.
You need to slow your roll,
way back." Like, holy shit!
And she's like, "If I told Kate, Kate would give him the business, but I'm just going to be friends with him all over again." It's like maybe Kate has a brain on her shoulders right now. Jose, you can turn yourself into the police, and then we can maybe talk again after you've had your own 50 Shades of Grey experience in Rikers Island.
And also, but can we real quick talk about, I had this in my hates, but can we talk about Jose's adios mio comments? Did you notice this?
Oh, Dios mío.
I've seen 1930 Disney movies that are less racist than this. Holy shit. All his character is this rapist that says, "Adio mio," or whatever he says. I'm like, what the
Adios
fuck?
mio.
He has like a catchphrase.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on here?
He's worse than the Native Americans in the Peter Pan movie. So fuck Jose. Did you have any other stock downs?
No.
Okay. Quickly, I have a couple, so I'm going to go through them quickly.
All right.
Written consent. She says it won't hold up in court, so what's the point? Honestly, like there's this big elaborate contract, but he can just violate it, or they can both violate it.
I think that was more to like your mind type thing. Is that wouldn't hold up in court? I don't think it was the consent part.
Well, whatever. Either way, maybe I'm going to back off that because honestly, I thought the idea of having a contract between a relationship, and I'm not talking about a romantic relationship, it'd just be nice for like a friend. I live in a community that has a lot of old people, and that's the only people that play pickleball with me. But sometimes they try to like talk to me for a really long time or whatever the case is. But I just want to play pickleball. So if I just had everyone sign a consent form, just be like, hey, we're not going to chatter. Like it's just pickleball.
No small talk.
Talk's not allowed. Small talk's not allowed. Honestly, I don't care. If your bunion's acting up, like I don't need to hear about it. So, yeah, maybe there is something to written consent there.
Yeah, fair enough.
I also had for another stock down, all the Italian and Jewish mothers out there. I mean, honestly, it's probably all the mothers who greet their children by asking them if they've eaten and then forcing an entire plate of brujol on them. But Christian takes this too far. Give the woman a break. Every single time they eat, he's like, you have to eat. You have to eat. You have to eat. Like, we get it. She has to eat. That's what you've said 20 times. But she kind of always continues to make the mistake of like putting too much food on her plate, which is very confusing because the first time they meet up, he doesn't know what she wants for breakfast. So he orders everything and he's like, I don't like wasted food. It's like, you ordered everything.
What if that he's actually a cannibal and he's fattening her up? And then that's why he's buying like all this stuff. When he goes to the store, he's like, I'm going to need some duct tape, all this stuff to like murder someone. She doesn't even think twice about that. She never even comes across her mind. The book could get pretty good if like he's actually just a cannibal.
He turned into Buffalo Bill. It puts the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
Yeah.
Are you a big old fat person? Yeah. That'd be wonderful. So yeah, I appreciate when people come home and their parents force the food on them. Yeah. But this guy was like forcing food on you and then being like, eat it. It's like, relax, dude. And then probably my biggest stock down ever in the history of the BBC.
Oh, okay.
And the stock is already incredibly low. It's not even a penny stock. It's probably just like traded with like a couple of junkies behind a 7-Eleven. But it's using someone else's toothbrush.
I knew that would be something you would hate.
Like the most disgusting thing. I mean, Anna says, and I quote, it's naughty and a thrill. No, honey, it is neither naughty or a thrill. It is disgusting. And maybe it's naughty because like it's actually dirty, like it's actually physically dirty, and a thrill because you're trying to get some sort of disease off someone else's toothbrush. But outside of that, there's quite literally nothing grosser than using someone else's toothbrush. I would use my finger. I would use the bath mat. I would use anything
Jesus,
besides
no,
someone
absolutely not.
else's toothbrush. It's disgusting. Like, also, he's a billionaire. Why doesn't he have extra? I know he's in a hotel, but he doesn't have like a couple extra toothbrushes just in case.
Yeah,
Ugh.
and she's like, he got her literally everything, but not a toothbrush. That doesn't make, you know what I mean? He's
Yeah.
like, here's this new set of clothes. Here's all this. It's like, that'd be something that you feel like you would get someone, right? If you're going
100%.
to-
Oh my
so-
God. If I woke up in the morning after a hangover and like, you've been puking all night, your mouth feels terrible, all that stuff, and someone said, here's a fresh toothbrush, I'd be like, you are my knight in shining armor. That is my savior. Instead, he's like, oh, I just use this as an enema. Like, now you can use it. It's disgusting.
Jesus Christ.
It's absolutely disgusting. Did you have a favorite scene?
I like the contract.
No, you didn't. Get the fuck out of here. Come on. You have like 2 sex scenes to choose from. Pick one.
I like the vanilla sex. I appreciated that. Yeah, there you go.
Vanilla sex honestly was was smut. You know what I mean? But it was like softcore porn smut. Okay, this is real.
Also, we had to wait for a long time for
Yeah,
it, which
yeah,
I
it
liked.
built-
Once
it
they
built
start
it up.
coming, yeah, you do
Pardon
5
me?
of those
Once
scenes,
they
it's not
start
good. Nothing. No, once you have 5 of those scenes, they don't really hold as much weight, where if the first one is the best.
Yeah, 100%. Additionally, with that scene, we had 6 hours of, I don't know, grade 3 level writing going on. Like,
I told you that before.
like Christian walked over to me. I said, "Oh my gosh, he's so hot." I paused. Then he handed me his contract. It was like she was trying to be Hemingway and just like quick, short, terrible sentences, but Hemingway has quick, short, wonderful sentences. So, yeah,
I've never read Hemingway. It's right up my alley in terms of reading skill level, so I had no issues with it. But yeah,
Oh,
I
but it
agree.
felt like
A
exactly
little
what it
bit.
was, like some terrible fan fiction. But then all of a sudden, you get into these sexual scenes, and she becomes
Quite descriptive.
Yeah, she takes
Quite
another
well-written.
level. I'm trying to like think of a sports analogy where someone was doing nothing, but then all of a sudden,
It's like Brady, having a tough game, but then the last drive you need a touchdown, and you're just like, holy shit! All right,
Yeah.
now we
It's like,
are
oh,
the best
now I
quarterback
see
in
it. Yeah.
the NFL history. All of a sudden,
Yeah,
So
sure.
That's what it was.
works like that. So yeah, I would say at least at that point, I somewhat understood why this was such a huge hit, because like, oh, okay, like this is porn now. Like I get it. Because before that, I was like, this is just the worst thing ever. So let's get into some love hates. What'd you love?
You mentioned it earlier, the inner goddess. That's just a girl's version of their penis, right? Is that what that was?
I think it was a little bit more.
If you just replace it with my dick, I think it works. She would be like, my inner goddess is screaming right now. Like anytime like he did something that was attractive to her.
Yeah.
And you just replace it with my dick.
Yeah.
Or it's like, my inner goddess is telling me I need to do this. If you just say, my dick is like, you gotta fucking get in there, That's... It makes a lot of sense because I couldn't understand what inner goddess was the whole time. But once I figured that's what it meant,
Yeah.
I got it. I understood it.
Yeah. The only time she would say, like, whenever she said it, I just thought of the like green goddess salad dressing at Trader Joe's. So it totally,
That is.
it's delicious.
All right.
It's honestly delicious salad
Fair
dressing.
enough. Fair enough.
Once again, it was like that smut stuff where they say like, about their feelings and whatnot. And it was a little silly. It was a little silly to me. I had absolutely zero loves. So you can continue.
I already went over the best way to get out of the contract was urinating.
Yeah,
or
urinating.
RGing.
Yeah, you're just, maybe your love is just figuring out loopholes in contracts.
Would have been great if Gray was a murderer. I already said that. Great names. I mean, we had Anastasia Steele. Woof. That's kind of a fire name. And then we had Christian Grey.
I'll give that to you. Yeah.
Those are great names.
Yeah.
Those are fucking awesome names. So
Yeah, if I said, hey guys, I have something for you, it involves Anastasia Steele and Christian Grey, someone would be like, oh, is it a porn? You'd be like, it is. How did you know?
But this book is not good if it's like Bernie, like
Susie Johnson.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're not. Well, Johnson.
Someone's
Susie Johnson could work.
Someone's
Susie
Johnson.
Johnson could work. That looks like a giant.
Johnson. Yeah. So actually, I'll take that back. I did think the character names
All right,
were
there we go. We got one out of you. We got one.
apropos.
Yeah, that's all I had.
Well, let's get into the hates. I've talked about the pros. It was terrible.
None of the characters had any background or story or fleshed outness. So the fact that Jose was so singular, I guess it was just everyone was that. So it wasn't the most racist thing ever, but it was pretty terrible.
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing from anybody in the first 10 hours of who they are. Like, the Christian Grey we probably had the most about, which is that he has a family. He's adopted. His mom was there, and he was sexually assaulted at the age of 15 by his mom's friend. He was probably the most fleshed out character, which makes sense, but the problem was that no one else was any way in the least built up as a character or anything. So, terrible. Like, we learned more about his car than we did about the main character being Anastasia Steele. Also, for me, I hated the descriptions in it were god-awful. Absolutely god-awful and repeated. Like, she used the same thing at least 3 times. I counted that she said, "The muscles deep and dark inside of me clench in the most delicious way." What the fuck does that mean?
If you had an inner goddess, you would know, but you just don't. That's your problem.
Delicious? That doesn't fit there. And like, to use it 3 or 4 times, and she kept saying delicious for other things. Like, he looked at me and it was delicious. It was like, what?
Maybe that's some British thing, because it is a British author writing as an American. It's like they say biscuits instead of cookies, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
biscuits are
crisps instead of chips, which actually crisps makes a lot more sense.
Crisps I can go with.
What else, Jade?
I mean, the thing is, I also kind of expected the writing not to be that
No,
great. So
I knew.
it wasn't like, I was shocked by her. I already said it too. I just really didn't understand if I would have liked Christian being either a bad guy or he really likes her because it reminds him of his mom, or something like that's like there's some sort of inkling of why it doesn't, like, that's the whole story rests on it. What is and we don't understand why.
Yeah. So I read just the Wikipedia entry for how this ends. There's like 4 paragraphs, and the first 3 paragraphs are up until the point that we read, but we're only halfway through. So I was very confused. But it said basically, after all of this contract stuff goes back and forth and they like don't decide on it, Anastasia says, like, pretty much, all right, let's give this BDSM thing a try so I can see what it's all about. But it says then that he beats her with a belt, and she's like, nope, not for me. And then they break up and she's sad.
That's the end of the book?
That's according to Wikipedia what the end is.
All right.
So honestly, I'm really glad we stopped if that is the case, because yikes. Also hate for me is the gasping. A lot of gasping going on. I can't remember the last time I gasped. Like, just then. That was the last time. But before that, never know. Every single thing at the beginning is like Christian Grey showed up and I gasped. Or like, he touched my hair and I gasped. Or he took me to this restaurant and they served venison and I gasped. It's like, okay, I got it. You're doing a lot of gasping.
And the white wine always being good. Come on. Wine sucks,
Wine's delicious. How dare you? Being like, the reason why I come here is because the wine is always good. It's like, you can go anywhere and the wine is good. Just buy a good bottle.
But he paired it correctly, kid. He paired it perfectly. So you just didn't understand that. I did. I understood it.
Yeah, my last one, and we've already kind of talked about it, but the inner monologue, like, too much with the goddess. It was a lot of Christian Grey is, and then fill in with something totally normal. It's like, Christian Grey is standing in my doorway. Christian Grey is making a joke. Christian Grey is playing the piano. Christian Grey is beating me within an inch of my life. It's like all of that stuff. I was like, okay, we get it. You like this guy, and he's a billionaire, but you also know he's a sadistic fuck. So it was like she just kept hitting the same beats over and over and over and over again. And I used beats for a reason.
I think if it were like a 6-hour book, if you just made this into Hatchet, if it was just Hatchet,
What?
If it was just Hatchet, you made it. I mean, it's the same writing level. You put Hatchet with sex in it.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. Hatchet was like, what, 6 hours?
You want
5
Hatchet
hours?
with sex in it? He's a 13-year-old boy who's stranded alone in the woods. What do you want?
You're the one that brought up they should be testing things out early and drinking early, kid. That's you. I didn't say
all
that.
All he has is a turtle and a decaying corpse
I'm
of
saying
a pilot.
The writing level and the length are the 2 things that I'm talking about there.
Fair enough.
And you bring the turtle into there. I kind of want to get a little wild with the turtle. You know me. I mean, what?
Did someone say length? Because Christian Grey is holy moly. Good God. How am I supposed to fit that? Where? When? How?
You've got mail.
Some lingering questions I had. Can I ask you a personal question?
Yes.
Would you be open to a sub-dom relationship. Not right now in your life, but at some point in your life. And I'm not saying with a billionaire and you get all this stuff. But if say that there was someone that you really liked and they said, I want to be in a sub-dom relationship, would you? And is there a side that you would prefer?
That is a very personal question. But we're an open book here.
Yeah,
pun
we're an open
intended
book.
At the
We're an open
BBC. I already told you that I couldn't be Christian Grey because you'd have to have such a confidence about yourself in order to be be person.
Yeah. So you're a sub is what you're saying.
I would have to be a sub, and then I hate when I don't have control, so I would hate that either. So either way, I don't think it would work for me. I'd try, probably.
Yeah.
I could give it a try, but I would hate it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
What about you?
I feel like at a point in my life, I would have said, like, yeah, sure, I'll be open to it. But once again, the dom side is just like, I don't want to hit anybody. Like, I'm good. You know, that doesn't do anything for me.
But tickling people when they're, what about that?
Sure. Have you ever seen that documentary, like, about those guys that tickle people and video it?
No,
it's called like I want to say it's called Tickled or something. Yeah, it's I didn't see it, and I've seen a lot of those. I haven't seen it because it's so weird. I was like, no way. But no, I don't think I could be in the dom side just because like part of me, like I would have done what he did when he tied her up and then was like, all right, I'm gonna go get a drink. You know, like, I'm gonna go watch football. Like that's the extent of the dom.
Yeah, for sure.
And then on the sub side, I'd be like, sure, I'll try being a sub, but then like 2 seconds in, I'd be like, safe word. No, I'm.
You start peeing.
I don't like having my hands tied up. Like I'm good. I'm all set. Start peeing my pants. So yeah, I think we're in the same place. Anastasia is in journalism school, correct?
I thought she was doing English.
Whatever, English. She's doing a lot of writing and reading.
Yeah.
And
okay. Yes.
papers
Sure.
and whatnot. The year is 2011. How does she not have a computer? Or more importantly, an email address. She like needs to get this computer from him. And she's like, I usually use my roommate, so I go to the library. I understand that
question.
maybe in like the early 2000s, but by 2011, computers are relatively cheap. Like it'd be the first thing you would buy. You know,
I can see not having a computer at that point still, but not an email. It is like you have to have an email to be in college.
Yeah, she's like, what is this? He's like, it's an email address. It's like, oh, wow, what is that? I think we misremember because before smartphones, you had to have a computer. Imagine you in college and anytime your roommate needed to do something, they'd be like, hey, can I borrow your computer? Be like, buddy, come on. Have you seen these keys? They're covered in frosting, if you know what I'm saying.
You didn't have a beat pad at that point? That's a luxury in life. Yeah,
it's a luxury. Yeah. Last one, hard limits. Very important part of the contract. No poop stuff, no pee stuff, all that stuff. Hard limits. You know, what's your lowest hard limit?
Lowest as in
like the least important. Like obviously, no pee stuff, no poop stuff, no stabbing people. Well, those are the high levels.
When I start crying, it'd have to end. You know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's pretty high actually. Honestly, like, good for you. You're going that far.
They'd be like, no one respects you, and I'd start crying. So that'd be it. You know, it'd be over. So, you're never going to be anything in life. And I'm out. Safe word. Salamander.
For me, it'd be more of a bedtime thing. Like, be like, all right, I have to be in bed by 10. You know what I mean? Like this all has to occur before 10. Like when in the contract, when it said that she had to get a solid 8 hours of sleep, I was like, yes, please. Like let me.
You can't be doing any of this
contract.
with the lights are on, right? When like Jesus is watching, the lights. It's got to be dark outside. I mean, what are we talking about here, right? Like, so you're saying it only can occur between like 8 p.m. and 9:30.
Yeah, we have like 1 hour. It really is. It's a window.
But not on Monday night football, obviously. Yeah. So and Thursdays. So I mean, those are out.
Yeah,
so.
Monday, Thursday nights are out, and
Sundays are obviously out too, 100%. And then college football Saturdays. So basically, it's Friday night, 8 to 9:30. If I didn't go out at happy hour, you know, before, and you know, a couple other things. So yeah.
There's a lot of.
We're down to it. Yeah.
All right, Keith. Would you recommend the book?
I didn't think it was as bad as you thought it was. I wouldn't. It's not really for me. I'm not finishing it, obviously, so I didn't really think. But I did think it went by very quickly. Like, it wasn't like one of those books I'm like, holy shit, when is this going to end?
Oh, yeah, I would definitely not recommend this book. It was honestly terrible.
Jesus Christ.
It was,
go on.
I'm really glad we read it because it is funny to talk about. It's like a joke. It honestly felt like a joke the whole time reading it. Like, there's no way. And it's like a joke the whole world has against you because it's super successful. You know, there's 3 movies, there's several books. I think there's like 6 books. There's like She wrote 3 books, and then she wrote 3 more books about it from Christian Gray's perspective. So good on her. She made a lot of money from going from like writing Twilight fan fiction to taking this to a fan fiction website and then being like, no, sorry, this is too hardcore for Twilight fan fiction, to starting her own website and then turning it into a self-published book to then it getting picked up and all this stuff. Like, really good for her. Her therapist must be paid very well. And speaking about doctors,
don't yuck anyone's yum.
no,
sir.
I won't know. But this is some questionable behavior in this. Speaking about doctors, Dr. Drew Pinsky, who I'm not saying is a great doctor or whatnot, but, you know, I grew up on Loveline, so Dr. Drew is somewhat a piece of my childhood. He commented that the book was, quote, horribly written in addition to being disturbing, but stated that if the book enhances women's real-life sex lives and intimacy, then so be it. I think that sums it up really well, honestly. It's like, okay, it is horribly written.
Right, that's what I was trying to say.
It is disturbing.
All right, I like it.
If people get something out of it, then good for them.
So be it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend it, but at the same time, I'm definitely not the target demo. All right, Keith, what do we got coming up next? 69, episode 69. Hey, we made it. We said as a joke, if we got to episode 69, we'd do 50 Shades, and here we are talking about guys beating people with canes.
We have an author coming on next, but after he hears this, though, he might not show up. But the Deadly Deal by Jay Lee. It's a new book coming out, and we're going to read it and then release it the day it comes out. So we got a little sneak preview.
Oh, great. Yeah. So we'll be talking to Jay Lee. We got Deadly Deal. I started reading it. It's kind of fun. It's fun. I like it.
I like that. Good to hear.
Pharmaceutical Mitch Rapp. We have another book after that, right? We got two in the hopper.
And then we're going to do Anxious People by Frederick Bachman.
Frederick Bachman, yeah. And that was a listener suggested that to us, and we are men of the people. Deadly Deal and Anxious People coming up, and that'll get us away from the smut, unfortunately. But it's been real. 50 Shades, E.L. James, you're an interesting individual. I respect you, but thanks, but no thanks. Keith, on to the Deadly Deal. I'll talk to you next time, and enjoy your weekend, and good luck with football stuff.
You as well. Giddy up.
Bye now.